fun talk show. And as you know, I'm your host, Karlene, and I am here with some beautiful, gorgeous, intelligent young ladies. And I'm so happy to be a part of this panel with them, and we will be talking about different topics. So today I just would like to I would like each of you to introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, hi. My name is Cami Toot. I'm 23 years old. I recently graduated from Georgia Southern University last year with a degree in marketing. I currently work for State Farm Bank financing, and I'm just living life. Hallelujah, Jesus.
Amen.
My name is Victoria Arnold. I graduated last year from Georgia State University with a degree in theater. I currently work for State Farm. I'm a claims adjuster, so yes.
Hi, I'm Crystal Dewberry. I'm 23, and I also graduated from Georgia Southern. I graduated this December of 2016, and I majored in biology and minored in chemistry. And I'm hoping to be a doctor within the next few years. So.
My name is Crystal. Crystal teacher. I'm 23 years old. I'm still in school for early childhood education and child and family development, and I'm a teacher.
All right, so I told you they were highly intelligent. Well, thank you so very much for agreeing to do an interview with One-to-One. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. All right, so we're just going to get into the program. We have a lot of interesting topics today, and I want you guys to just feel free, comfortable, just speak what's on your mind, all right? Okay. And just tell the truth, all right? So first, I want to talk about peer pressure, because I know that's what's affecting a lot of young adults, not just young adults, but teenagers on a whole, and in colleges and high school. And I know, you guys have been through some yourselves. I know there are different types, and peer pressure, it does test your character. So let's talk first about body images.
Okay.
How now societies portray this, you have to look a certain way, and these young people are doing injections and buttocks and you just have to.
Yeah.
So what are your take on that?
I'll start. First, I just want to say that it took a lot for me to build my self-esteem when it comes into my body. In high school and in middle school especially, I had low self-esteem when it came onto my body as well. I wasn't, the skinniest. I wasn't extremely big, but I had some weight on me. And even though I wasn't bullied in a way to feel that low self-esteem, it was just myself that I had to work on. And I think when I went away to college, and I just realized that it really didn't matter as long as I'm happy with myself, and as long as I'm healthy and everything is good internally with me. It shouldn't matter how I really perceive myself in the outside. Right. And luckily, when I went to college, I did lose some weight. So hallelujah. So right now, I'm really happy. I just want to tone up.
Yes.
But as far as body image in society, I feel like back in the day, skinny was, the trend. The skinnier you are, the better, you look. Nowadays, the thicker you are, the better. Because people are trying to, get the hip injections, butt injections, whatever, to look how I used to. So it's crazy that I had low self-esteem for for a body that people want now. So that's just my opinion on it.
Okay.
Well, for me, I wasn't personally bullied by necessarily a person when I was growing up, but I just feel like society puts so much pressure on me as to how I look. So it could be anything from social media. You open up a book, just on the magazine cover, you see somebody who's like a size 0.
Right.
Yeah. And at first for me, it was like my self-esteem wasn't where it needed to be, and it kind of crept up on me. It's like if your mindset is not in the right place, it's just kind of like it's really easy to fall into it. Growing up, at first I was okay, but then it was just simple things. It was like, okay, let me put on more makeup here and there, let me go ahead and start
just
doing
to fit
it.
in.
Yeah.
So I just think it's really important. It's like just to finally go ahead and gain that confidence in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
to know, okay, despite of what the society thinks is pretty for right now, because it's constantly changing, like you said. It's like just to be happy in yourself, do what you want to do, and know who you are. So that's how I feel about it.
You're saying?
I definitely feel like Instagram, as we all know, plays a huge role in body image, because we have the girls on the beach who are like, you know, slim in the tummy and nice big old hips. And, you know, the guys are commenting like, ooh, yeah. So that can play a really big role as far as, is this what I'm supposed to look like? I struggled kind of with body image in high school just because, you know, some of my friends had like, you know, the butts and whatnot. So I think it's just a matter of, I agree with Crystal as well, just your mindset. And you have to know that whether you have a big tummy or a small tummy or small hips, big hips, you're still beautiful. And you can't let the stuff you see on Instagram, just because they're getting 2,000 likes because they have on a bikini.
Sometimes it's not real.
Yes, and that's true. That's true. A lot of times it's not real, but you can't let it get to you.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Social media is definitely playing a part in how
For your body
images, especially for young girls, because they see like all these other girls like on the popular page, like getting all these likes and stuff like that, but it could be fake as well.
Exactly.
So,
Okay. And another peer pressure that most or majority of young adults is affecting you at some point, sexually active or sexually activity that's happening right now, especially in campus when you guys were in college or still in college. So how did you overcome that as far as getting involved with someone, or do you think low self-esteem has a lot to do with why people allow another person to pressure them into having sex when they're not ready? What's your take on that?
A lot of girls, they feel like if, you know, a guy is willing to have sex with them and stuff like that, that makes them feel better. Like, oh, this person wants me, so at this moment in time, I feel good about myself. But after it's all said and done, it's not the case. So
to be liked.
To be liked.
Somebody to like them.
And a lot of times, I feel like the guys will tell the woman, you know, this is a place I want to go with you, and you may do it sometimes because you don't want him to go out looking for it from somebody else. But regardless, at the end of the day, he's still gonna leave and probably get it from someone else. So
I feel you was talking about peer pressure when it comes to sexuality. Thank God I never felt peer pressure when I was in college to, you know, experiencing sexual. I never was pressured to do so or anything like that. I just know a lot of friends I had in college, they weren't, I mean, some of them were pressured because I had a couple of friends who had sex just because they didn't want the guy to leave. Other friends I had or people I knew in college just felt it was just a common thing just to have sex. It wasn't more of a pressure, it was just a known thing to do, just because you're away in college and, you know,
it's
have
a thing to do.
The thing to do. So I feel like it's some pressure when it comes to sexuality with a lot of people that I know that I've seen in college, and others is more of they just want to do it. So,
what's your take on that?
For me personally, when I was in school, I just felt like I was pressured to have sex, and it was not necessarily just from guys, but it's also from girls too. It's like, oh, that's not what you're doing, why not? There must be a reason why you're not, you know?
Something is wrong with you.
Yeah, something wrong with me. And I just kind of felt like that's pretty much like not how it's supposed to go. Like, it's my choice. And I don't feel like a guy should put pressure on you because I just feel like at the end of the day, if they do care about you, you know, they will wait for when you're ready.
They will wait.
And, you know, when I was in school, like younger, you know, your parents tell you, but you're just kind of like, okay, mom. Like, you have to tell me this. But growing up, it's like I do realize, like, yeah, like, you know, nobody can pretty much take that away from you. Nobody can pressure you on it. Nobody can make you feel bad about it. But I do feel like it is big to have pressure, especially from guys at school. Pretty much just, you know, let's go ahead and have sex. So,
So I know that is a big thing right now. And like you said, they do it just to be liked, some people just to be the popular crowd, you know, different reasons. So don't be pressured. If someone is pressuring you to have sex, say no. It's not worth it. Because then you'll be next morning, the next day, you will regret it because you weren't ready.
Yeah.
Alrighty? Now, let's talk about experimenting drugs, alcohol that's happening now. There's so many drugs out there that these young folks are getting into. I don't even know half the names, some of them, but alcohol, drugs, in colleges, high school, amongst you young people, clubbing and doing all these different things that they do and partying. How did you overcome?
The drugs I've seen most people use, it's like marijuana and stuff like that.
Right.
But I have seen where I was out one night and then I saw this guy. I thought he was dead, to be honest.
Right.
And I think he took a Xanax or something like that,
Yeah.
or something. It was like something harder than marijuana, and so I did see some experience where some people took drugs, and it did influence some of their education. Because I know someone who, because of the partying too much, that they had to leave school for a while and come back because they weren't doing well academically.
Right.
So drugs I have never experienced like that. Alcohol, however, when you go away to college, I don't think, back to the peer pressure thing, I think it was a peer pressure at first, and then you get so immune to drinking all the time, especially when you go out, when you're in college or anything like that. So I did have experience drinking alcohol or anything like that, but there was a time where I was just over it. It's just
How did you get over when you got so caught up into hanging out and every time they hang out you have to drink? How did you say, you know what, enough is enough?
It was just to the point where it's like every time I wake up the next day, I don't feel good at all.
Right.
I feel terrible. So it's just like, what's the point of drinking and taking so much shots when you literally feel like you're dying the next day? It's to the point where I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore.
So you have a made up mind and said enough is enough.
Yeah.
Right. Anyone else want to chime in?
Well, with me, I didn't really do drugs at all either.
Yeah.
I didn't even try them. It was one of those things where it's like enough people around me were trying them where it was like, oh, I already know what happens when you do that. I don't need to learn that for myself.
Right.
But with alcohol, I was like Cammie. I was like a social drinker when I was in school. Like every other weekend when we would go out, we would drink. And I mean, it was okay for the time, but it was like all it takes is just one time to drink too much. And when you realize that you've lost that self-control, it's like, oh, okay, this isn't really for me. So I do know now, it's like we do find other things in place of alcohol, to have fun. It's like just because we are our age, we don't have to drink.
There you go.
There are other things to do. So that's what we did. We found other things to kind of replace going out.
Very good.
I think my form of peer pressure, as far as like alcohol, we all go to the kickbacks and and as soon as you walk in, people are like, take a shot. And it's like, all right, I guess I got to. So, once again, just picking back off of them, you do wake up feeling like, why did I do that last night? You're tired, you didn't go to church the next day, you didn't,
It wasn't worth it.
it's not really worth it. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, also the first time going into college, if you didn't experience the whole drinking thing in high school, it's so much easier for you to fall into it when you go to college because
it's new. It's
You're like, oh, everyone's doing it.
social.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good.
I just wanted to piggyback what you were saying. It takes that one time where you do alcohol or drugs or anything that you can mess up one time where it can affect you permanently.
Yes.
To the point where you don't want to drink at all anymore.
That is true.
So
that is true because sometimes, like, even though now they have Uber, where if you at a certain point you can call for Uber, but then you could ruin your license. You could get caught. Some people just not listening and they want to go around the steering and drive their cars home or wherever they're going, and it could affect them. Affect them their entire lives. Their school, you could mess up. Not going to school anymore. Your license can be revoked. Go to prison. Do prison time.
Right.
So you just have to be careful. So don't get caught up into all those pressuring of somebody pressuring you to drink. If you go to an event, you don't have to drink. Like she says, you do not have to drink. You could have great time without consuming alcohol. All right. Now let's switch a little bit. Let's talk about bullying. Cyberbullying. What's happening now? These young people, a lot of people are committing suicide because of this, of being bullied. Have that ever happened to you, or do you know someone that's been bullied?
I've never experienced bullying just because I have a mouth and no, I was saying
Okay,
I
you
was
have a mouth. What do you mean?
what I mean is when I was in high school, they were afraid to say things to my face. What they would do is talk behind my back.
Okay.
Well, I would obviously know they were talking behind my back, so I wasn't bullied like.
So you weren't more the quiet type. That
Yeah, I was
you were
more.
the leader.
I guess so. I mean, I just wasn't known like that in high school anyway,
Right.
so they just left me alone. But I had a lot of friends who was bullied in a way just because the way they were dressed or because they weren't, popular, especially in high school. Because I wasn't not the popular person in high school. I was hanging out with, I guess nerds. I don't know, brainiac because I was smart too, I guess. But so I had a lot of those
smart too.
So I had a lot of friends who was bullied because they weren't in the known clique or anything like that, and just because they dress differently and act differently.
What are some of the signs that you think people should look for, or these young people, or even parents on a whole that's out there? Parents on a whole. What are some of the signs?
The major sign that I've noticed, the change in your friend's attitude or their personality changes a little bit when they are bullied. Because I had a really close friend to the point where she wanted to commit suicide and she was cutting herself in everything.
Wow.
So you could definitely see the signs. The mood changes is a huge thing when it comes down to someone being bullied or just feeling low self-esteem as well. So that's a major thing.
Low self-esteem. People pick on you for the way you look, the way you talk, So you just be careful. And like you said, it leads to suicide. So you just have to, if you have friends or family that how would you, what should they do to help to stop that?
I have a friend she went through a little phase where I would say she was suicidal. And to be honest, as a friend looking outside, it's hard. It's one of those things where it's like you want to ask somebody, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
But you're scared to kind of get the response because you know what's coming.
Right.
So it's one of those things where it's like for her, it's like just constantly, just making sure you're constantly checking up on them. Always just trying to show love, even in like very little ways. It's something like she's on your mind, just give her a call.
Right.
Even if you don't really know what's going on, just sit there and listen. I think listening was a big thing that helped us get through it. And then also, to be honest, counseling. I used to be like anti-counseling because my mom was a counselor. So everything was like count to 3, and it just
because you were so used to
that.
Yeah, but it really helped her. And then even once I was more receptive of it, because I kind of needed it for myself to know how to even interact with her, to make sure that I was doing everything that I could to be there for her. It's like, it helps. And then of course it's like, yes, she can do counseling, but doing it also there with her. So it's like, so she doesn't feel alone. So I just feel like kind of love helps somebody who's in a place of suicide.
Okay. It's not a nice thing. So those of you out there who are going through, someone is bullying you, call you out your name, harassing you on social media or just even high school, talk to someone. Talk to your parents. If you don't have your parents, talk to a friend. Talk to someone that you can trust. So it's not a nice thing, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to commit suicide. There's help out there. There's hope. Alrighty, just to encourage someone out there. Also, we talk about cyberbullying. Let's talk a little bit about social media. Social media is taking over these young folks, these young people now, right? So how do you think social media takes a role in your everyday lives?
It's very prominent. Like one of the first things I notice, I know I do it, that people do when they wake up. You're scrolling like it's the morning newspaper. And you're like, ooh, what's on Facebook, what's on Twitter, what's on Snapchat, what did I miss in my 7 hours of sleep? So it plays a big role every day.
It does. It sure does. Because sometimes you should be doing something else, whether you're in school, you should be doing homework, you're on Facebook.
Exactly.
You should be doing something that's more productive. You're on Instagram, posting and looking at whose photo and liking everyone's photo and watching all these celebrities. And it affects your day, it affects everything. So anyone has something to take on that?
Yeah, I would say social media I'm attached. So it's one of those things where it's like, I don't like the Kardashians.
Right.
But still, if I'm gonna go look to see what's going on.
they're doing.
Just no complain about it. Yeah. And it's like
Exactly.
you're getting wrapped up in their lives, and it's like you have a life of your own.
Right.
So yeah, I would just like try to slow it down, but it is a part. It's big, especially in our generation. With
Exactly.
social media.
And do you think it has like know how you think? Like
Yes.
Change the way you think.
Yeah, does it
I think
change?
so.
Yeah.
the way you think at all?
It does, in a sense. I feel like a lot of people, we put on social media what we want people to know.
see.
Yeah. So like you have some people,
Exactly.
their whole social media is, you know, I'm happy this, I'm happy that, and really they might be falling apart
They're going
inside.
right.
Yeah.
So it does play a role in how you think about stuff. Especially if you're following someone else, like
Right.
following a celebrity or following, you know, a friend who could be doing better than you, and you're
Right.
not doing as well as them.
So sometimes I think deception,
Yes.
because it plays a part where, oh, I'm not going to let them know that I didn't graduate yet. Or I'm not going to let them know that this is not happening for me.
Yeah.
So maybe if I post on somebody else's Benz, they probably think that car is mine. Maybe if I borrow my friend's nice outfit and we go to an event and I pose, it's my clothes,
Yeah.
I have, I got
I've
it
seen
going
that.
on. So in other words, you're lying.
Yeah.
So it's not all what it cracks up to be.
Right.
Correct?
Yeah.
All right. So we have to be careful of this
Yeah.
social
Yeah.
media. It takes away too many of your time. You need to do so. You need to work. Go back to being productive. Just like we said with the children, it's all games. They're inside. They're not playing anymore. They're outside. They're just outside with the games. It's all
Yeah.
social media just taking over. That also piggyback on that what we just said. How about online dating? With you young ladies, I know you're out there. You graduated college. Now you're in the market of grooming yourself to become wives. So I know, of course, you're looking unless you weren't alive. Or in other words, they're looking for you.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about online dating in your generation? Because it seems like it's taken over.
In my opinion, I think it's a good thing and a bad thing. I think it's a blessing and a curse.
Okay.
A blessing when it comes on to, it's easier to interact with others. What's the app called? Tinder.
See,
I don't know how to pronounce it.
it.
I don't know how to pronounce it. But it's easier to interact and get to know someone through online dating apps and everything like that. However, I've known a situation where there's a new program on Snapchat where you can find people's locations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So you still have to be careful.
you have to be careful because I know
dangerous.
someone who was online dating. And I guess he wanted to find out where she was at.
Wow.
Showed up at the
Wow.
So
See?
yes,
It's dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
So I don't know. I'm old school. So
Yeah.
I'm not for the online dating.
Yeah.
I want to meet you.
Yeah.
I know your mama, your daddy, and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. But I'm not knocking. That's people's choice if they want to. But for me, in my house, we will not be doing online dating.
Right.
I feel like if you decide to experiment with online dating, if you meet with the person, make it a group.
Yes.
I think, yes.
meet in a public setting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I did Tinder. I'm not gonna lie, I did Tinder. And I met someone on there that I liked. When we met, it was a group thing. I brought a friend. He brought a couple friends, and just make it a group thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in a position to be alone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like she says, be careful out there
Yeah.
because you have stalkers. You have people who.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous world. So just be careful. Don't just go out there and just do whatever you want to do. All right. Alrighty, now we're gonna shift the gear a little bit and get into some juicy stuff. Want to talk about relation? Yeah,
Right?
maybe you want to have a sip too, huh?
Yeah.
This tea is exceptionally good today.
Yes, it's called 1-to-1 sweet tea. Alright, let's talk about relationship. I know you, like I said before, you guys are grooming yourselves for that mate to find you, not you find him.
Yeah.
Okay, and to be that virtuous woman that you should be, right? So, being that you go to church and you're very involved and everything, would you date someone now that does not believe in God?
From past experiences, I've done that before. Like dated someone who isn't necessarily like 100% Christian or whatever, or like someone who, you know, was like questioning it. And I find that it doesn't really work out as well. So now I would not do that.
Right.
You know?
I just personally cannot, just because I'm in the place of my life right now where I'm trying to build a strong relationship with God.
Right.
And if I don't have a significant other who doesn't even want to have a relationship with God, I just don't see how that's going to work out personally. I personally can't. I could be friends or we could be cool. But as a person I'm trying to build a relationship with or see a future husband with, I don't see how that's going to work out.
Right,
So.
exactly.
I'm gonna say, I'm with you. I'm like, no. I tried it and it wasn't even serious, but it's one of those things where it's like you quickly just learn that everything is just off. It's like you guys might have a good time together, but when you start talking about serious things like goals, it doesn't line up.
Right.
And it's one of those things as well where it's like at our age, I feel like we are kind of just starting to look, for spouses. And to me, it's like what I view a marriage is your relationship with your husband and then God. Your marriage can't function if God's not in it. So if you don't believe in God, then that's not going to work out.
Somebody has to go, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I strongly believe in that. I really do. And not only because of being a pastor or anything like that, but because that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You want somebody that you're on the same page with,
Right.
because it's going to cause conflict in your home.
Yeah.
Even raising your children is going to be an issue.
Right.
Yeah.
For you going to church, participating in any activities is going to be an issue. So we don't want unequally yoked.
Right.
So let's talk about, I know like I said, sex, y'all have feelings. So what do you take on sex before marriage? I didn't say before, I'm not saying we are perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
But now that you're getting older and you say you get into that place where you do want to get married, a few years you guys have finished school and working and what do you think about sex before marriage? Should you wait now that you're more seasoned and have more experience in life?
I do believe it is important to wait. You want to be more connected with someone, mentally, emotionally, before you go there with them physically. Because if you go just straight for the physical, and there's nothing to talk about afterwards, it's, you want to get inside their head before you get inside their body.
Exactly.
That's how I look at it.
Exactly.
I agree with Victoria. Sorry. Where I'm celibate, where I'm waiting until I'm married, just because I want piggyback on you. I want to get to know someone in a different way than sexually, because when I get married, what is it? It's pretty much what's the point of getting? To me, what's the point of getting married if you're already giving up everything now?
Milk for free.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the marriage
It has
what's
nothing to look forward to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It has
So
nothing.
I just think when you get married, it should be a time where that's when you
Express
should
yourself.
exactly. So
Yeah.
That is true. And sometimes they say sex to interfere with that. If you start having sex prior to the marriage,
It does.
Oh, yeah.
it interferes
And
emotionally, because that's all they used to, that's all they ever gotten from you, and
That's all they want.
that's so
Yeah.
if they love you enough, guess what
Right.
they'll do? They'll wait.
Yeah.
So then you'll know if that's a person, if they really said, okay, I
Right.
want to marry her. Anyone could tell you anything.
Right.
But if they wait for you and say, you know what, she's worth it, that's where I want to spend the rest of my life. But I'll wait until the night of my honeymoon. Amen. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we're all perfect.
Yeah.
We all messed up. We all did our deeds.
Right.
But now that you get older, more mature, it's like, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm tired of it. Let's just wait.
Right.
And because you want to get to know the person also. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah, I totally agree. What are some of the qualities? Because looks is not everything.
Right.
So some of
Right.
the
Oh,
qualities.
So not physical?
No, they should.
Oh.
No, they will be physical. Because that's the first thing you're attracted to.
Yeah.
Is what they look like. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, he's fine, But deeper than that, not just superficial, but deeper. What are some of the qualities that you would have in your mate, in your future husbands to be?
I really look for communication. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
communication is so important, and I feel like not just relationships, but marriages also fail because if you're not happy or if there's something you don't like, you have to know how to communicate that
Right.
with the other person and tell them instead of just, I'm going to go out and find another outlet.
Right.
So communication, of course I want him to have a relationship with God. Like, I want you to be able, if you feel like you can't get through to me, like, pray to God that, you know, somehow for him to come in and, you know, intervene with both of us. Yes, honesty, communication, and talk to God. I think that's my top 3 things that I'm looking for.
Right. For me, it would be communication, respect. Because
Yes.
if he doesn't respect
Hallelujah.
me, it's not going to work, you know? And loyalty. So I feel like
You gotta have that trust in them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For me, he has to have a sense of humor as well. He can't be just, I mean, yes, he has to have all these qualities. These qualities are
Yeah, me too.
great, but if he does not make me laugh,
What's the point? Like, I'm like that too.
Yeah.
I don't. Some men are just so serious.
Yeah.
Like, so stuck up,
All the
like
time.
loosen up a little
Yes.
bit. Like, right. That's the first step.
Yeah.
So I love a man that could make me put a smile on my face. Just
Right.
I'm not saying all the time, but you know,
Yeah.
just crack me up sometimes. Yeah. Smile. Yeah, those are some good things. Yeah.
Well, mine were kind of all in there, so I was
Right.
thinking communication is a big thing
Mhm.
because it's really hard now to find people who can just express themselves on their feelings or what they're looking for straight up. Respect is another one. Just respect yourself, respect your mother, and you know how to respect
Yes.
me.
Very good.
And then also I would say just true to himself. So someone who's just honest, you know, not trying to put a front on, trying to
Transparent.
Yeah.
just true.
That is so. That's some very good qualities. So should I start a dating line now? I'm gonna call it young people's dating line. You have to come through me first, right? You agree? Would you sign up? I'm just kidding. Alrighty, but it seems that we're on the topic of relationships. This is such a serious thing that's happening now that young people are in abusive relationships.
Right.
Mentally, verbally, physically, sexually. I don't know if that has ever happened to you or you know of anyone. Would you stay in a relationship that is that's abusive, and how would you handle it?
Yeah. I look for the signs, you know, like if I see any type of signs of like emotional, you know, aggression or anything, I'm out because I don't have time for that, you know. But
with a big O,
yeah,
O-U-T out.
Yeah, exactly. But it's hard for young girls nowadays because the guys can get into their head, controlling and say,
true.
"Oh, no one's ever gonna love you like I do."
Yes, so
and
true.
They
That
believe
is true.
it, so it's hard for young girls
Right.
nowadays.
So they say, and the reason I heard a lot is, I love him.
Right.
Yeah.
I love him so much. I don't want to leave.
I personally have not experienced being in an abusive relationship, but a really close friend of mine, her boyfriend began to like hit her, and you know, first it was like a slap, then it was like a punch, so it was like between slaps and punches, and it took her a while to leave, and I was just, sometimes I felt myself getting frustrated with her as a friend, like, why would you stay here and like deal with that? And there's so many other people out here who have treated you better and who want to treat you better. I think in that scenario, sometimes he wasn't telling her, oh, I love you, all that stuff. I think it came from him being jealous of her success. And sometimes you have women who are more successful than men, and a man can't handle that. They can't handle,
that is true.
You make more than me, or you know, you're buying the dinner now and I'm not. And I just think if you are experiencing that, or you know, whatnot, just
What is that?
I would say take a look in the mirror, take a look back in the past, other people that you dated, the men in your life, like whether it's your dad, your grandfather, and just know that you are loved. And you know, being hit or any type of way, in shape or form, that's not love. You know, and you deserve better.
It's not. You deserve better. You are a queen. You're beautiful. You're somebody else's garbage. Just believe you're somebody else's treasure. Do you think because of today's society, it's a challenge for your generation to focus on the Word of God, even lack of interest of going to church, of just in general? What do you think?
I was gonna say, I think social media has another part in that. Like now on social media, you don't really see things about God anymore. It's more about like worldly things.
Yeah, I think as our generation as a whole, I just feel like we're straying from God. It's just everything. It's, I just feel like a lot of people are confused. And instead of like relying on like, godly wisdom, things that you read in the Bible, it's like you rely on the worldly issues. Oh, what did this celebrity do?
True.
They're
more looking up to the celebrity versus
yeah.
God.
And it's really easy to fall into it, even for myself. It's
True.
just like constantly just making sure that you're staying in the center of God's will instead of the world's will, because everything is like impacting you nowadays, and you have to be careful because it will slip up on you. And even for me, it's like I know in my mind, it's like when I wake up, okay, first thing I'm going to do is pray, but then it's like, oh, well, wait, let me just go on Twitter for 5 minutes. And Twitter turns into 30 minutes. And, okay, I got to get ready for work. So,
so true.
Yeah, just being careful.
That is true.
I feel like nowadays, especially in our generation and the younger generation, they're just so open to everything that they don't really believe in religion anymore as well. And so I know a lot of people, when you go on social media, they anytime you talk about God or anything like that, they're like, oh, you're crazy or anything like that. I don't know why the generation is...
So they're more going after the worldly things.
Yeah.
A lot of influences from celebrities or from people who are atheists, people who do not believe in God.
Exactly.
So that's where sometimes their focus are not so much church anymore, going to church or praying. They're more what the world can give them. Things of that nature.
They go for, I guess, what is like cool now. I guess like religion and like God is not like
kind of boring for them.
Yeah, so
it's
they
not
go
happening.
for like whatever is like cool.
That is so sad. Young people, get back in. You have to get back in the Word of God. It's a must. All right. So we just want to say, let's talk about something else. Let's go to this is very dear to me because I've lost someone, my stepdad, my grandmother, who have passed away, but. We have young people out there who have experienced it or who had or still going through or, family member who are sick or died recently or just don't have to be recently, sometime in the past, loved ones that's dear to you and you just do not know how to cope with that. And because of that, you go into depression and you turn to drugs or alcohol or sex or whatever is it that satisfy you at the time. Has any of you ever lost someone that close to you that it affected you so much? It's still affecting you, but you know how to handle it.
I lost my mom when I was 13. I was in 8th grade, and it's a lot when you lose a parent, and when you're the only person in the class that has lost a parent. Everybody else still has theirs. I think one of the things that I did wrong as far as the whole grieving process, and I guess I shouldn't use the word wrong. I don't feel like there's a wrong way to grieve.
Not at all.
I would say one of the mistakes that I made was walking around pretending like I was okay. And I did it for so long that, a lot of people did think I was okay, except for like the people I lived with, such as my sister, my dad, people who saw me and could see when I was putting on, a show. So one of the ways I was able to get through it, and the way that I'm still able to get through it, is you have to take time to grieve. You have to take time to recognize, what has happened, who you lost. It's okay to feel anything that you might feel. It's okay to feel, to sad, to feel angry, to ask questions, to not understand. But it's not okay to stay there. I think it's very important that you, recognize how you feel, acknowledge it, but still be able to get up and keep going every day.
So I just want to encourage you out there. As you can see, they're here, they're alive, they're keeping it real. She was crying. You can see it was nothing fake, it was nothing planned. I mean, they're just telling you what you're going through, and just to encourage you, do not give up no matter what you're going through. Teenagers, young adults, go back to school. very, very important that you get your education. If you're going through hurt, you're in an abusive relationship, don't stay in it. Talk to someone, talk to a pastor, talk to your friend, talk to a counselor. Find a hobby, do something positive. All right, so we just want to encourage everyone out there today, and always remember, always, Matthew 6 verse 33 says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. So we just want to say thanks again, and this is it. Appreciate you. We're going to wrap it up 1-to-1. Everybody say with me, 1-to-1.
1-to-1.
That's where it's at. All right, goodbye, and we'll see you next week. Video coming soon.